Hey everybody, I'm doing things with a special guest you guys might even know.
Hello, everyone. It's Thomasjujube. I just copied my intro from my own videos, but hello.
Dude, I wish I had an intro. I haven't had one in like years.
I just kind of started saying that, and then it kind of just gradually became a thing I started saying. I've been trying to like get rid of it, but it sticks. So,
Yeah, I get that. Currently, I say hey every pony, and everybody's like,
yeah, that's funny.
oh no. And
I
so,
like that.
well, the thing about that is, I'm a freelance editor, and I edited
Yeah.
for this one guy who's into My Little Pony, so I edited like a MLP video for him. I watched one friggin' episode, and I said it as a joke, and now I think I'm saying it unironically, and I hate it. well, well, okay. So moving on from that, I've had several comments like, "Hey, when are you gonna get Thomasjujube here?" And I'm like,
Oh,
"Well,
really? That's cool.
here we go. Yeah, you're pretty known in this niche of a community, so like people know
Guess
each other,
so.
and even though I try to cut back on the Toka content, I'm still here. I can see what you
Yeah.
guys are saying, and well, yeah, Thomasjujube, you're here, you're there. Japanime is another big one that people want me to cross over with, so like it's all good. We're all fun. We're all here
Yeah.
making content. So tell me a little
What?
bit about yourself. Pretty much that,
Uh,
like how you got into Toku, how you started
oh,
making these
okay.
videos, how you're in the community, all that stuff.
So basically, like since I've been like four, so like for a very long time, I love Transformers, and I still do. That was like my bread and butter, basically. Anything Transformers, I knew, and I watched a decent amount of like toy reviews on Transformers. So there was one guy, Mgo, that you've probably heard of because he's
Mm-hmm.
pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
He got into Super Sentai and Kamen Rider. So he started posting stuff like I think User was like the specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know about Power Rangers because obviously it was so big, and I think I got into Power Rangers Samurai for like 2 years straight. I loved it to death, and then Megaforce came along, and I kind of like dropped out of Power Rangers again. And then I saw the User stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this looks like Power Rangers. What is this?" The one I discovered those videos just happened to be when Dino Charge was actually coming out. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "This isn't Power Rangers, but it looks like Power Rangers." And then from there, I basically discovered Sentai, and then from Sentai, I found his Drive videos, his reviews on Kamen Rider Drive,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it was just like another weird Power Rangers thing. I think I thought that the shift cars were like Zords. So like instead of creating tires, I thought like Trideron would just summon giant cars or something to that effect, which is obviously completely wrong. And then I think I found a figure review, and I was like, oh, this is like the cars. Oh, they create like tires. And then from there, I don't know, I must have found some clip of Kamen Rider Drive. I think it might have been like the movie crossover with Gaim. And then I just fell in love with Drive, Gaim. From there, it just kind of spiraled out of control. From there, then I would find obviously other Toku tubers, and there was one video, I don't remember specifically, but it was like an everything wrong with Toku video. I'm not sure who
Oh,
made it.
oh
Uh,
no.
uh, so I watched those for like a while, and then I mean, from there, yeah, you pretty much find like the main Toku tubers at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just like one summer on a whim, I was like, I have free time. I can just start, I don't know, make YouTube videos again. Because I'd done like stop motion stuff, but I was always just like, I have this app on my phone. I can just make stop motion. I was
Mm-hmm.
never into it too much. Then I tried making the videos on Toku, and then I threw in Transformers as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I just loved it. I got the microphone because I wasn't using my voice at first, and it was kind of bad. And then I got a microphone. I started actually kind of getting more into the topics I was discussing, and it was a blast. It was so much fun. And the fact that now, like, what am I at? I'm like 8,000 subscribers. The fact that there's a lot of people that actually love watching me
Yeah.
just talk about this is just great, because I don't actually have like any friends that watch the stuff
Mm-hmm.
as well. Let's be honest, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
So that none of them really, like, even Transformers, which is still like a mainline property in America, none of my friends ever watched Transformers. So just actually being able to connect to people that
Mm-hmm.
watch the stuff that I watch and are as passionate about it as me, it just means a lot. So it was really great to connect with the community. Just like, oh, I really like you know, this insert episode here and this moment here. And it's like, I understand that. Like, I can connect with that. It was something that I could never really do before. So it was really cool.
You've probably seen people on Twitter. Well, I've seen people on Twitter whenever they get into a show for the first time, and then they show screenshots, and then they're like, "Oh, I like this episode, dude." I love that stuff. Like having people really experience that. Yeah, it's great to see like the community like, get together, watch this one episode, and be like, "Dude, that was great." That's fun.
Yeah, that's always really cool, especially if it's like a season I haven't seen, and it's like, "Oh, that's a really cool thing. Maybe I should watch this season for that kind of aspect or specific moment," or if it's something that I've seen and it's like, hey, now they can understand why I like the season so much, or something to that effect. That's always really cool.
Yeah,
I think
I did want to get into a little bit of this content creation talk, since Toku is still niche. I mean, it's getting out there. Ultraman is being like officially released more in the West, and that's great. Kamen Rider toys are starting to get more out there in the West too. Like you can see a Den-No statue like Barnes and Nobles, and that's crazy to me. So like, despite that, Toku is still pretty niche, and we have this small community. Well, small compared to like even Transformers. So when it comes to like content creation, there's usually a lot of crossover, since it is small. There's not that much you can talk about, but it's so cool to see like unique perspectives on this show, because not everybody's gonna like the same season, but we all like Kamen Rider, we all like Sentai, but we don't like the same seasons, and that's very interesting to see. And then when I've seen your videos too, you have differing opinions. Yeah, I've seen your Geo video, you monster. I still think that's a cool thing, because despite us having different opinions, I still respect content creators and how they can still do all this. So basically, I also want to get into like what's your like creative process of making these videos? Like, do you just talk into a mic and speak your mind, or do you just like write things down, or how do you go with this?
It's kind of like two split aspects. Most of the videos I like prepare a script like well in advance. I have like a Google Doc that every time I'm like, I just have an idea for a show, like I'm watching Geo and Swartz does something, and I'm like, how did Swartz do that? I'll just like write it down. And then at a certain point, I'm like, I don't have a video to make, and I go to that list and I see like that idea. Why did Swartz do this? So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do that. I start like thinking kind of like how to develop the idea, what I could say. And then at a certain point, then I go back to the Google Doc. Somewhere below on it, I start writing out the script. I go through it a few times. Once I've gotten it written out, then I'll record it, and then I begin to edit it in whatever. For reviews, unless it's a show review, because that's kind of a more broad thing, and I have specific aspects I want to talk about. Like the first episode, for example, usually I'll just like take quick notes while I'm watching the episode, and then I'll just kind of speak my mind about the notes. So most of the reviews, unless it's a show review, that's pretty much all just off the top of my head. Everything else is usually scripted.
Wow. I can't do that. I need to have a script. I can't talk like without one.
It takes a lot of audio editing sometimes, taking out the ums and the hms and the stuff like that. It's kind of like a process, because before it was a lot of like the hms and the ums, and as over time I've kind of gotten used to just kind of saying stuff about the show. It still requires a lot of audio editing though.
The audio editing is probably one of the more tedious things to go through. Like, I don't like I don't like doing that, but you have to. My history of Kiba video is only like 35 minutes, but the raw audio was like an hour and a half. So like, I don't like doing that, but you have to make a quality video.
I can relate to that so much. A lot of I do, even with the scripted videos, I have like so many takes because I'll just mess up a word.
Yeah,
I think like one of my most recent videos, I missaid Kishiryu like 5 times. So there's like a 5-minute take of me like repeating one single sentence and like saying Kishiryu 5 different ways.
Oh my gosh.
So stuff like that is always like really funny, just like because it's like a Japanese franchise, just misspelling or missaying some of these words because it's not my native language.
Yeah.
I always love that.
as Western fans of these Japanese shows, I'm sure you get comments of like, "Hey, you mispronounced that," and I get that like every video, every
Yes.
single video.
The bane of my existence is Geo, and not because of the show, because of the name. Because obviously it's spelled Zio.
Uh-huh.
And I called it Zio when it was first announced, and then the show came out, and I think more people started just reading into the translations, and obviously it's pronounced like Gio or Geo. It's not a Z sound, so I say it that way in my videos, Geo, and every Geo video, I get some comment like, "Why are you pronouncing it Geo? It's pronounced Zio." And I'm like, "That's not how they say it in the show." And they're like, "Yes, it is." And I'm like, if you listen, they don't say Zio. It's more, I'll give you, it's more of a G, like a G sound, not a hard like J. But like, it's not a Z. And I have no problem if someone says it Z-O, because that is how it's spelled for an American audience. But like, don't get angry at other people for pronouncing it Geo when they pronounce it Geo. That's like my whole opinion. Like don't get angry at other people for how they pronounce it, but like just accept how other people pronounce it differently if it's like spelled differently. Like if you pronounce it like something completely different, like B-O, then maybe there's a problem. But like if it's close, like Z-O, I won't get angry at you, but like don't get angry at me for saying it a different way as well.
If you want to,
instance I can think of that.
If you want to bring up dialects real quick, in Japan there's an obvious intent of what they want to say, that like Kamen Rider Drive, obviously it's the English word drive, but in a Japanese dialect they would say that like drive. It can be pronounced both ways. Like there's the English obvious intent that they want to say drive, same with build, same with like Forza. There's an obvious intent they want to say, but if you want to speak Japanese, you could say like buildo, drive, Forza, you know. Yeah, it's correct both ways, and they even romanized it like in English. So yeah, well, anyway, I didn't want to get too deep into that.
My favorite romanization is Wolfu from the 01.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or mainly when they add like 50 syllables, like from build to beetledo.
Yeah.
Drive to doraivu.
I don't mind that stuff. Have you seen Tokusatsu Gagaga?
Not yet, no.
Oh, well, I won't spoil anything, of course. But but the in-show Sentai, or Sentai that they want to call it, is called Joshuon, and it's spelled like Joshuon. No. But TV Nihon romanizes it like Joshuon, and it bothers me watching it because there's an official romanization of it, but TV Nihon anyway puts the Joussh. Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
When Ju-Oger is spelled J-U-Oger.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Same way. Well, I'm sure most people want me to get into this already, so if you're ready. What was the process of the 01 episode of This Is Too Dark thumbnail?
Okay. So it was mainly just off of the Jin shooting someone in the head. Mm-hmm. That scene that happened, I was watching the episode live. That happened. I was like, "Oh my god, they went there." Okay, they'll just have him shoot someone in the head. So the idea was, I was kind of more referring to Jin shooting someone in the head, which is why he's in the thumbnail and he's the main part of the thumbnail. Not like the whole episode, because obviously it is very upbeat. Aruto himself is not like brooding or anything like that. So I was trying to refer to Jin shooting someone in the head with how the dark aspect of it, and that kind of continued. He still pulls out a gun for no reason, but I guess that was kind of taken out of context. Yeah. And which I will admit, maybe it wasn't the greatest choice of thumbnail, but It was taken. It was a little blown out of proportion.
That's completely okay, and I understand that too. You gotta be so careful with what you put out
Yeah.
now, because especially on Twitter or on any social media, anything you do, there's gonna be at least one person to say, "Hey, I don't like that," and then it's gonna be blown out of proportion, like you said. I completely understand, and that's okay. The video itself was pretty interesting. But then people see the thumbnail and they're like, "Oh, this is the worst thing ever." And yeah, but that's pretty much just how it is when you create content.
That no one actually tagged me or anything. The only reason I found out is because Twitter just kept recommending me people to follow.
Yeah,
and it every time was my thumbnail or something related, and I was like, someone's watching me for sure. There's just no way Twitter would recommend like 5 days in a row "This is Dark" meme using my thumbnail when there's nothing linking to me at all, like in the actual tweet. So I was more worried about like who was watching me on Twitter, like what my FBI agent was doing or something. How did they know? And how did they get Twitter to recommend it all to me? That was what I found the most funny about it.
Yeah, it just happens, and that's how social media is too. There was this small point earlier in this year where I just went off Twitter. Just there wasn't any reason. I just did it. I think I read online something like, "Hey, you're happier if you're not on social media." So I figured, hey, let's not go on social media. I gave my friend like my password and everything so I can log back on, and pretty much I was. Life was good. I didn't have anything to worry about. So
nice.
It's just something to think about. Like when you're on social media, you just either don't listen to other people or you go on your day, and well, that's another talk for another day.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of 01, how have you been enjoying it so far?
Ooh, I love 01.
Yes.
It made me because I think the head writer is he directed X-Aid. So I kind of feel there's like some X-Aid in there, and that's just why I like it so much, because I love X-Aid so much. I find it really interesting how much plot stuff they're doing in like these earlier episodes. To not get too specific into spoilers, there's some stuff that's like maybe like third act like reveals or like middle of the show reveals, and they did it in like episode 4, I think, like end of episode 4. They had stuff like that, and they're still doing stuff like that. So I was kind of worried like they'll reveal this stuff and then there's nothing going on later on in the show. But like they're still laying the groundwork for other stuff to be revealed as they're revealing this crazy stuff. So I think they're kind of expertly like getting you interested by doing all this crazy stuff, balancing out with like filler stuff. And then as time goes on, we're going to have more reveals and more action. Although I'm dreading at some point in like episode 40, it's just going to take a dive like most Kamen Rider seasons do.
Oh no.
But I don't know how it's gonna take a dive because it varies, but I think I'm just dreading that happening. But for now, I am enjoying it a lot, and I'm looking forward to what they're doing.
Awesome, that's so great to hear. Yeah, 01 has been so good so far. The henshins are so pretty. The action is so good. The jingles are top notch. 01 is so good. Now I can't wait to see how they mess it up in the second half.
Yeah. I love the stupid text to speech.
Yeah. it's dumb, but I think it's a good kind of dumb. The jump to the sky turns to the right. Dude, I love that stuff. That's why I watch Toku.
I forget what episode it was on, but I had the idea to just tweet out the text to speech.
Oh yeah.
Every time a new form debuted. I think it was from like Jack's Films. He started doing something like that. So like I just tweet out a jump to the sky turns to a rider kick, screenshot it. Next week, Vulcan debuts. I put the image of a jump to the sky turns to a rider kick and tweet out the elevation increases as the bullet is fired, and continue that. So I'm hoping to have this just massive list of the text to speech by the end of the season, and I'll keep doing it with like V cinemas or whatever. So that's one aspect I'm looking very forward to. With the I want someone to like put them all into the text to speech generator and see what comes out, like what sentence it creates.
Build had a similar problem where like everything was so good, like there were so many mysteries being solved and answered and questioned, and there's like so much, and you can't wait to watch the next episode.
Yes.
And then Evil comes in and it's like, hey, we gotta defeat Evil for like 20 episodes.
Yeah, I know. I think also part of that problem was like they were building up to the movie.
Yeah.
And we didn't get to see the movie until we didn't get to see Be the One until like halfway through Geo.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm not sure how well it would work as like it builds up to the movie and then you watch the movie and you keep watching the show. If that worked, or I'm sure it wouldn't work. It would work better for those aspects, but yeah, like it still went just from like we have to be evil to he's just sitting around doing nothing. Should we go fight him or?
Yo.
He was. I think Mad Rogue only exists so they could have someone to fight and not evil in black hole form because he would just win. Other than that, Mad Rogue had no purpose. So.
I'm not saying Build's second half was bad. I'm just saying it wasn't like as high quality as the first half.
Yeah, I agree. It still ended fine, I guess. But overall, it was still a good season. But like, took a little dive, just a bit.
just a bit. Although I don't mind Evolved. It's just I like the mysteries in the first half.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I don't like Agito, but I don't want to get too deep into Agito. Oh, good. Just kidding. I'm sorry. That was a joke. Please don't thumbs down the video. All right.
For opinion.
Now that we're getting more into this Kamen Rider discussion stuff, what's your favorite season, Thomas?
X-Aid.
Ew.
I feel like part of it may be nostalgia because that was the first season I actually watched like live with it. I love all the suits. I've been listening to the soundtrack, and the soundtrack is amazing. I really like the plot for the most part. It still takes a dive like every season, but for the most part, I still love it. But like everything about X8, I just love. There's some seasons where it's like I love this, but like, you know, it might do this, or I'm just like not as attached to the season. I'm just like so attached to X8. I love it. It probably helps that it has my favorite suit of all time in Hyper Muteki. But as you've probably noticed,
probably
just a bit. I'm not too obvious about it.
I was actually wondering how you chose your little avatar, and I'm guessing you just like Hyper Muteki a lot. So
yeah, I just loved Hyper Muteki, and I was like, I can use it, but maybe I should recolor it a bit to my will. I guess.
I don't think I've said this too many times, or at least officially on the channel, but my personal favorite season is Hibiki, and most people are like, "What? It's Hibiki? The second what? But the second half is terrible." And I'm like, "But the first half is so good." I just I love Hibiki's first half so much. I just ignore the second half, and it's so good.
That makes sense.
I put it like on top of like Den-O, X8, and all those. Like I know it's crazy, but I just love it. Like I even rewatched Hibiki recently because I loved it, okay. So aside from the Hibiki gushing, my second favorite season, which we can both gush about, is also X8. I have been wanting to rewatch X8 so bad, but I have so much to watch and I played already. I just can't unless I make an excuse like, hey, let me watch X8 for History of Kamen Rider. So I have.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
And like the Gashat hunting is like, we gotta sell the toys, but the characters are so good. That's why I love X8 so much. Emma's great. Poppy's like my favorite writer girl ever. Kiria's so good. Taiga's so good. Brave is so Hero's so good. Nico. But everybody else is so great.
I actually love the first 12. I think where does 12 end? I don't remember. But I really like just the build up with Genom. Yes, that's how I say his name.
Yeah, me too.
Well, good. I really liked Kuroto in these beginning episodes where like first he's our ally and Genom's just fighting people for no reason and you're like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
And then it's revealed that he's just been playing everyone for the data. and then he goes off and does his own thing as like a massive, or not a massive villain, but like just his own separate villain with Paradox. I really like the Genom dynamic in the beginning, and I also liked how they handle, or how he kind of plays into the debut of forms, which is a weird thing to say, but like usually it's just cool how like the Gashets come from the monsters, or the level 3 Gashets do, so they can defeat the monster and he's there as a villain and they can beat him up. And now, like, to debut a form in that episode, despite beating the monster in that episode, I thought that was a really interesting dynamic, and it only works just because he's there in the beginning few episodes as this mystery villain.
The whole Kuroto dynamic in the beginning is very interesting, because while we've had these like villains that we don't know what they're doing before, Kuroto as a villain, it's so interesting to see how he goes from the serious mastermind to, you know, the meme master we see in the Kamida at the end, and it's so funny. Kamida! It's funny to see, and a lot of people don't like how he became that, but I like it because it's so out there and it's so dumb. It's so tokusatsu to see something so weird from that.
I think like before he died, when he was like just had a god complex, I like that. And then he comes back and he's just insane. And I do like that though. Like there's no denying, like I love all the memes and whatever came out of Kuroto from that end. I just like him more when he was like the just a cracked villain in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then later he's just cracked. But but I like Kuroto either way. Like I still like Kuroto. I just liked him more when he was like the villain instead of the anti-hero. But I do like he came back around as the villain in the V cinemas, which are also kind of alright.
I really like the V cinemas. I don't like how Kuroto became the villain again, but I like the V cinemas in general.
Yeah, I like the V cinemas. I think it was like he was always kind of still a villain in like the last when he was revived. Like they had a whole episode where he hates everyone still, but he decides to work with them to get rid of Chronicle, and then he just gets jailed in like the last 5 episodes, so he can't actually become a villain again, and then he breaks out in like the most insignificant way, which is a hyper battle DVD.
Yeah,
I was getting ready to watch the V cinemas, and then like I think Kuroto's is like the opening shot where he walks down the steps, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I need to watch the hyper battle DVD to see how he breaks out. And nothing happens. It's just a fun hyper battle, and at the end they're like, Kuroto's gone. Now we can go to the V cinema.
Yeah, it's just kind of there. It's like you could have been told Kuroto breaks out and that's it.
This was my master plan. You played a game and now I'm free. Okay, he has like 50 backup plans as well.
Yeah, even in the novel, he has plans behind those plans. Even the books aren't safe.
I forgot about the novel where he comes back again.
And I like that X8 has so much supplementary stuff.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the MCU in that aspect, I guess.
Yeah, in a way, like everything's connected. Like in the past movies, you have usually been standalone. You didn't really have to watch them, but in X8, you kind of have to watch like everything to get the full story.
Yeah, except for the Brave special because they introduced Foundation X for no reason. I think I haven't seen it.
No. Well, good. You're not missing
anything.
I've heard
about it. Yeah, like all I know is they like reveal it's Foundation X at the end, and I was like, Foundation X Gashats, what? And then nothing. I can only assume they brought back Foundation X to play into the X8 build movie, I guess.
X8 Generations final.
Yeah, because it was there for Foundation X reasons. That's what I'm assuming, but no one knows.
But even in the movie, the Foundation X is just kind of there. They don't do anything. Yeah, that's a shame. I've been rewatching a few movies here and there, a few seasons or a few episodes here and there, just so I can get some knowledge on some videos I'm working on. And Heisei Generations, like all 3 movies are actually pretty good. And I'm even lumping in Heisei Gen Forever in there. They're all so fun. They're all so good. I really wish past writer seasons were more like it. I don't know how they could be more like it, but they're so fun. And seeing the legend writers again, like out of suit, I love Kamen
Yes.
Rider, dude. It's so fun.
I agree. I actually I really love Forever. I have a hard time deciding between Final or Forever because Final has X8 and Build, but Forever has all the tributes.
Yeah.
Especially the 5-minute scene where there's like no dialogue and it's just all the riders appearing.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like that scene is just high quality. That should have just been in the Geo show. I don't think that should have been in the movie. They should have had that like in the show.
Although over Quarter, the movie seems to have some pretty cool visuals from what I've seen, and like especially the Geo Oma henshin that looks so nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait! I can't
The
wait till it
Ride
comes
Watch came
out.
out too.
Yeah, for $50, not including shipping.
I was like, I kind of want to get that one. I don't really like Oma form, but I'm like Oma Geo. That's a nice suit. So I was like, I'll get the Ride Watch, and then I'm like, it's premium Bandai. Yeah, sorry, no Oma Ride Watch for me.
How it feels to be a Western Toku fan, but having to spend a lot of money. I get that.
I almost bought the Oma driver.
Oh yeah, dang.
I didn't.
Don't.
Almost, I didn't. No, I'll just repaint my Jiku driver in gold and call it a day.
Oh, I think someone modded their Jiku driver where they had like covers in place of the Oma driver.
Yeah, there's a lot of fan mods because the Oma driver came out on like the last episode, but it debuted in episode 1. So like everyone's like, I'll just make my own.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for one that actually makes the Oma driver noises because they all just make Jiku driver noises, which is fun.
Those are, geez, I bought a Jiku driver not too long ago, and it came like last week, and it's so tiny. I wasn't expecting how tiny it is.
I actually quite like that. I like the tinier drivers. Just kind of, I don't know. I just like them more. Granted, I don't have any of the big bulky drivers, so maybe my opinions will change once I get one of those. Because I only have the small drivers.
The Den-O belt is pretty small too, and the Jiku driver is like almost as small as that. I wasn't expecting, because I got a Ride Watch before I got a Jiku driver, and those Ride Watches are huge. I wasn't expecting them to like fit in the palm of my hand. They're big. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, the Jiku driver is probably going to be ginormous too. And then it's like, oh, I can... What?
It's tiny.
It is tiny, and like I'm not a huge guy, but like it makes me feel big because of how small it is.
I love when like a show comes out, and obviously we don't get the gimmicks and stuff right as it comes out. So you're like, this is probably just me. Sometimes I just like imagine when it's like the hold one, and then I actually get a gimmick, and it's like this is much larger or smaller than what I thought it would be like. I can't think of one that I've had that experience with. Maybe Locked Seeds. I don't know.
Yeah, those gimmick toys are just
yeah.
When at the end of Ghost, when Gena made his cameo, and that was when Shakuriki Sports was starting to come out. I saw like how big those gashots were in his hand to the suit actors, and I thought, dang, that's gonna be a really fun gimmick toy. And then it just like fits in the palm of your hand. It's so small. I mean, they're not tiny, but they're smaller than what I'd expect them to be.
I think maybe they just always seem bigger.
In the show,
I can't think of one that seems smaller. Yeah, in the show, it just seems bigger. Some of the props are scaled up, I think. Like, I think Ryu Souls and Ryu Soldier are, like, definitely scaled up, I think. Or no, maybe not Ryu Souls, maybe I don't know. There might be a bit of scaling up in the show.
Well, they have to, because they are selling to children, so, like...
Yeah.
And that's what $300 CSM belts are for.
Or $200 now, because Bluefin came along.
Oh yeah,
saved the day.
Thank you, Papa Bluefin.
I haven't bought anything yet because I haven't finished Double. But if you come out with anything X-Aid Bluefin, you get all my money, all of it.
I don't think they'd come out with a CSM gamer driver because it's just a piece of plastic. So like
that's what I was thinking. Just because I was like, if they make a CSM gamer driver, I'd buy it. I was thinking, how would they do it? And I agree. I don't think they will because they kind of already did with the memorial sets. Because it has, like, the main thing I feel that goes for CSM sometimes is, like, show accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
And the memorial gashots, they have all the quotes.
Mm-hmm.
When you put it, they have, like, the sound effects in the show. Like, the swirling of the character selects.
Mm-hmm.
the like sounds when you select the character. They have stuff like that already. So like, if they release a CSM gamer driver, what would they do? Just re-release those in shinier colors to be so accurate? I don't know.
Yeah,
They could just like add music into the gamer driver,
Oh,
like the
that'd be
Deca driver
cool.
does. I know that would be like the OST, the background music.
Mhm.
That would be really cool for every rider. Now I want a CSM gamer driver again.
Yeah, and X8 has a really good OST. I would love to buy
Yes.
to see that stuff. The CSM I wanted the most was a Delta gear, but like
Ooh.
all the Fies gears are so expensive, and I'm never gonna get a Delta
No.
gear, but still, they look so good. They're like
I
so
know.
gorgeous. Oh, I want one so bad.
So shiny too.
Very, and like I was considering asking like my whole family for Christmas for one of those, but then they're like, "What are you gonna buy a toy for? You don't need." And I don't know. I mean, they're supportive. But
It's
I
a
don't think they wanna-
collector's item? Question mark.
I was considering getting a CSM new Den-O belt because that's probably the cheapest CSM out there.
Oh,
But then I saw I saw a comparison between the CSMs and the DX, and the belts themselves are like the exact same sizes. It's just like the straps are different. They're more high quality. But I was thinking I could just get myself a new strap and say it's a CSM, so I did. And now I say I have a CSM Den-O belt.
when they ask for the sounds and you're like, the batteries are out. Sorry, I can't demonstrate my CSM.
They're the exact same mold, so like it makes no
Yeah.
difference. I spent $150 for like the cards, I guess, but it's fine.
Did you see the new ones that are like iPhones on your waist or something?
I don't think so.
Like revealed it a couple days ago. I'm not sure. I don't think they're selling them yet, but it's going to be like at a show display. It's literally based off concept art. Apparently, it's like just like a piece of plastic, clear plastic with like designs on it, and it has a strap, and that's it. It looks cool, but it's like it's not from a show at all, or it's like based off one. I don't know. They haven't really said.
Think I know what you're talking about. I think I saw someone on Twitter quote tweet and say it's from like a Gonbarizing game, but yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Like I'm not gonna get them because they're not from a show, so I would have no attachment to them. But like, looks cool.
You could also just kind of just strap your phone to your waist, and that's the same.
That's what it looks like. So yeah, just I don't know, design some plugs to put your phone into a belt, I guess.
Have you seen the
V buckle?
the American V buckle?
I don't think so, but I've like heard kind of what it is.
So for Dragonite, when they released the belt, they were like bricks. They were huge, but they had to be huge because in the show, whenever they put the decks in their cards, it spun, and so the belt like had the gimmick where it would spin. And I mean, it wasn't a good gimmick, but like it could do that. And I've always wanted one just so I can say I have a Dragonite advent but and anyway, when CSM Double Driver 2.0 was announced, I was like, I don't think I want it. It's probably gonna be the exact same thing. But then when Bluefin announced they were releasing it, I was like, dude, give me like 10. I want all of them.
I know that's probably the most consideration I've given to getting a CSM, just because now it's so easily accessible. But I'm like, I haven't like seen all of Double, so I'm like, do I want to spend $200 on a belt that I'm like okay on in a show that I haven't finished? No.
Yeah, I don't justify buying Toku toys unless it's like for my top 3 shows, and that's why I've been getting so many Den-O stuff recently. but yeah, there's so many toys I want. I'm pretty sure there's so many toys you want too. But like, unless you have a connection with it, I feel like I wouldn't want. Or unless it's cheap, because I got like a Chronicle Gasha for like $2, and I was like, hey, I don't even want it, but it's $2.
Yeah, that's usually like, oh, it's here. I think one time I was like buying Soto on Mandarocket, and there was just a Hawk Gatlinger for like $8.
Oh,
and I was like,
it's
like $20. So I have a Hawk Gatlinger now.
Yeah, I saw that sale too. They had a beat crosser for like $5, and I was
Really?
considering it. Yeah, I think we're talking about the same sale there. But like, I'm not into Toku weapons. I don't really want them or anything. I don't even care for them in the show. But like a $5 beat crosser, I don't know, man. It's just you won't see that again.
I got the beat crosser, but that was it was not part of that sale. So
Oh,
I only got the beat crosser because I loved Cross when he
Mhm.
came debuted in build, and I heard the sounds for the beat crosser, and it makes beautiful, beautiful sounds. So that's like the only weapon I have alongside the Hot Gatlinger because it was $8.
Last night when I was when I was in a voice chat with my friends, one of them said, "Hey, look, there's a Hana figure from Deno for $15," and I was like on a page to order pizza, and I was like, "Dang it, why'd you tell me that when I'm ordering a pizza?" So like for the next hour after that, I was talking to my friends like, "Should I get a pizza or the Deno figure?" And it was so hard to choose, so I went with the pizza.
I was about to say, which one did you get?
I mean, my fiance probably wouldn't like it if I bought that figure because it's weird, but like it was a Hana figure, the weird anime looking one, and the more I looked at it, the more I was like, I don't need this. I'd rather have pizza.
Oh yeah, I saw something about that on like the wiki. How they just like Deno is like the only season that has character figures, but they're like anime style, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
And
basically.
recently they're like, we'll just make the actual person, but like before they're like, we don't have the budget to make an entire person, so we'll just make it an anime character.
They probably also didn't want to pay licensing to use the actors' faces, so they just
True.
use an anime. There are a few figures of other like actors, like face actors, but I don't know if they're official, but they have been sold before from big companies. Like I know Takeshi Hongo has one. I think Philip and Shotaro have figures. Dan Kuroto obviously has like the best
Sure.
one.
He's a figure art, so they went all the way.
Yeah,
Did you hear that? Like he just has Kuroto figure arts that he
Yeah.
carries around.
yeah.
Didn't he come to like the US and he just gave like the cast of like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood like copies of him?
Yeah, and
No questions asked.
I think Leonardo DiCaprio now has a Dan Kuroto figure.
That's amazing. I love that. They need a Watts figure.
I've been wanting those Kuroto figures, but they released two versions. One of them had like normal faces, but the other one had the meme faces and the continue pipe. But they were $80 dang dollars.
Goddamn figure arts are like, this is a simple $40 purchase. We're gonna double the price and see if you want it. Scared for the Hyper Muteki figure art because that's gonna be like $200 and I'm still gonna buy it.
Oh, easily. Oh, when the Tato Legacy figure got shown, it was like $120.
Oh, yeah.
So like, good luck with the Muteki one.
See, it might not even come to pass because it was just like at that one showcase,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had another showcase with like all the other Final Form figures they revealed, except Muteki. So I was like, you're gonna do me like that? You're gonna like reveal it at the one showcase? At least release official pictures or something, and then
Yeah.
I'll be happy. I was just happy it existed, like in a physical form that good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care if it gets made or not because I already have a couple figures of Muteki. and if it doesn't get made, I'll save like $200. So that's also probably better for me.
That's the same way I feel. Like I like figures, but I don't really buy them too often. But those figures they showed off, like what was Mugen and Bill Genius, like those look gorgeous.
I know.
I wanted one.
I'm not the biggest fan of Genius, but that was a really good figure art as well.
Same. Yeah. Somehow they made the plastic look better than the suits.
Yes, people were actually like, Mugen looks so good here, and I'm like off in the corner with like Mugen on my 10 spot of Final Forms, and I'm like, oh, so
Yeah.
I finally got around.
See, I have Mugen at my number one, so like.
So you were to say that you're like, see, I told you.
Thank you for joining me, Thomasjujube. It was so fun.
Problem.
I really appreciate it.
I know, this was a lot of fun. Thank you.
I'm sure more people would love to see more of this sometime soon. Maybe even another official crossover and like another video or top 10. And well, yeah. So chill yourself out one last time, and then I'll play the Pro Jared theme.
Okay, you can find me at youtube.com/Thomasjujube and twitter.com/Thomasjujube, and that's about it.
Do, 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 do.